Hello and welcome back to Cuba Libre. Today we're going to be continuing our playthrough, and I am the 26th July faction against the bots. If you'd like to catch up to where we are, feel free to go back to some of the earlier videos, episode 1 or 2. Otherwise, we're just going to continue along with our playthrough. Last time we went through a couple of extra cards on top of the first propaganda card, so today we're in it for the long haul. And let's see what happens. So, Fat Butcher is up. The Syndicate are first eligible. They are eligible, so they are going to attempt to do the event. This does have special text with it, the activity. The special text says the Syndicate is going to ambush a player if possible. So, what does this card do? The Syndicate free ambushes, so no resources paid, with one of its underground guerrillas and opens one closed casino. They have all their casinos open because we just came off the back of a propaganda round anyway, and none of their pieces are out. So they're guerrillas. So it looks like this is going to be an ineffective event, at which point in time they would choose to do an operation with special activity instead. So that's what they're going to do. And I don't know if the Syndicate has done too many actual operations before. Let's see what their flowchart says. So, yeah, again, this is ineffective, so they're going to try here. Syndicate could add Guerrilla, where Casino has none. They have a lot of spaces where they could add Guerrillas, because their casinos don't have any Guerrillas associated with them. So, they're going to try to rally. Let's take a look at what rally is for the Syndicate player. And a rally action. Any provinces, one resource per space. They can place one guerrilla. If they have an open casino, they can instead flip all the guerrillas underground. Well, they don't have any underground guerrillas or above ground guerrillas, so they're just going to do the placing of the guerrillas. In their flowchart, they're going to target spaces where any casino and no Syndicate guerrillas. So that's all of the spaces with those. So let's grab the pawns so I don't forget. That's Pinar del Rio. It doesn't look like there's a maximum, so a number of spaces for this particular operation. So they're just going to do it everywhere. And then where there's any open casinos, cube, and all guerrillas are active, they're going to flip it underground. Okay, so that's not in effect right now. So this costs one resource per space selected. They've selected 4 spaces. That they're going to go down by 4 to 26. And they're going to take 4 of these guerrillas and place it 1 in each spot where there's a marker. Okay, so that was their rally. Take the pawns back. And now, I did pay the resources. Okay. Then the next thing they're going to do is try to profit. So at 1 to 2 open casinos, they're going to try to place cash. So the profit action is spaces with open casinos or cash. They're going to place 1 cash marker with any guerrilla or cube in each of 1 or 2 selected spaces with an open casino, or close any open casinos and remove any cash desired for 3 resources each. So, they are going to just place up to 2 cash, and they're going to place it where the Syndicate has no cash. All of their casinos, all their cash markers, are in the cash box right now, so none of them are actually on the board. So that's going to be everywhere, but then the second selector is where there's no enemies. So at open casinos where there's no enemies, I think that's only 1 spot, and that's Pinar del Rio, so they will do the profit action on that space and put one of their cash markers there with their underground guerrilla. It's a maximum of 2 spaces, but none of the other spaces seem to qualify, so I'm going to call that good. Then the Directorio are up. They are either going to do a special activity or operation and special activity, or they're going to try to do this event. So the Fat Butcher does have the halo around it, so they do have some special instructions. Let's look at what those are. special instructions for Fat Butcher. Oh, choose ops and special activity instead. So that's what they'll do. So the operations, let's look at their flowchart. Can they terror in an active space or assassinate a government base? They aren't in any spaces with active support or opposition, so that's a no. And can they assassinate in a government base? There is a government base out there now in La Habana, but in order to do the assassinate action, they do need to have guerrillas there. So they're not going to be able to do that. Do they have 6+ guerrillas available, or Rally would place a base? Yes, they have, I don't know, 9. What is that? Yeah, 9. So they are going to try that in neutral or passive spaces. So if we recall, in neutral or passive spaces, 1 resource per selected space, and it's 1 guerrilla or replace 2 with a base, and it's population plus bases for placing. So guerrillas to underground, that's not going to matter because all of their guerrillas are underground. Place bases where there are at least 3 DR guerrillas. They only have 2 in all their spots. And in fact, they're out of bases to place, so they're not going to do that. Then they're going to place guerrillas at DR bases, then where there are other DR guerrillas, and then 1 random spot. So there are bases here and here. They're going to do that. 1, 2. Then they only have 2 resources, so that's all they're going to be able to do because it'll cost them 1 each. So they'll do it there and there. The procedure is going to be population. They're going to place the number of population plus bases. So in Camagüey, we have 2 bases plus 1 population is 3 guerrillas that we're going to plop down. And that will cost, that'll cost 1 resource. Then in Oriente, we have 2 guerrillas and 2 bases. So that's a total of 4. Geez, they're really stacked in Oriente. Okay, they're going to retain control, and that's going to be fine. So that's their rally action. Oh, yeah, they have to pay for it, so they'll pay down to 0. Then they're going to try to subvert. If July 26th is at victory, no. Otherwise, remove the most support, no. Then if neither applies at the highest population, so they're going to subvert. Maximum of 1 space. That's going to be Oriente that has the most population with 2. I know it's kind of cluttered now. So they're going to get 2 resources back. I believe that's what we do. And set it to neutral. It's already neutral. So 2 resources back. It was like it was free. And that is their turn right there. So we shuffle the eligibility back around. Fat Butcher was played, now it's Pact of Caracas, and the next card is US Speaking Tour. So for Pact of Caracas, I think I mentioned this at the tail end of the last video. This is a really good card. It essentially is like a truce between the DR and the 26th July, so that you're not able to remove pieces through operations or special activity that belong to the other. So it can be really good for the rest of the game until it's canceled. It can get canceled if you kind of break the truce by getting rid of some of your bases. But I think as good as that card is, we've been really just trying our best to eliminate just enough of the troops and police here so that we are able to do a terror op and kidnap to get some resources, because we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel too. So I think we are going to do a operation plus special activity, which will leave the government able to do the event, but I think their special instructions for that event is that they're going to pass on it. So, which is too bad. I'd like for it to be in effect. So for the terror op, we can do it in a city or province, anywhere with underground guerrillas, and we activate one of the guerrillas, and we add a terror marker and support shift support opposition 1 level toward active opposition. So this would turn from active support to passive support. And then we could kidnap. The kidnapping only occurs in locations where we did terror and the 26th July exceed the police. So, once again, foiled because we have exactly the number of underground guerrillas or guerrillas total in this space as we do police. So we don't exceed them there, so we couldn't kidnap. I really want to take advantage of that. So I think instead, what we have to do is attack. Because then we can ambush, which guarantees our success. Let's see how it works. So any spaces with guerrilla and enemy. So we could attack here too, cost a resource. I mean, technically we could attack, in any of these locations and drive out the Directorio, but I don't think that's a super good use of our time. They're still pretty far away from their win condition, whereas the government is right there. So we are only going to do it in one space, and that's Santiago de Cuba. So the process for this, since we're going to do an ambush, the attack is automatically successful, so we don't need to roll. And what we're going to do is we're going to activate one underground guerrilla, and then we're going to place a 26th July guerrilla there as well, and it's going to eliminate 2 of the cubes here. So an attack, normally you'd activate all the guerrillas, roll a die, and then if it's less than or equal to the number of guerrillas there, so in this case 5, the only way this would fail is if we rolled a 6, then we'd remove 2 cubes. We take any cash, there's no cash there. If we roll a 1, that allows us to also, in addition, place a guerrilla. So the ambush basically makes it so that we don't have to roll, and it's automatically a 1. So we're removing 2 of the cubes, we are placing 1 guerrilla, and in addition to that, it's only activating 1 underground guerrilla instead of activating all of them. So that's what we're going to do. It'll still cost us 1 resource, so we will pay for it dearly. We'll activate 1, and then we're going to take out all the police there so that we can do terror and kidnap next time. I keep saying next time, and then something else comes up and we can't do it. So these go back to the available forces, and ambush allows us to place a guerrilla. We don't have any in the available forces, so we can optionally take from somewhere else on the map. I think Las Villas is a decent location to take from because, yeah, the Directorio is probably going to rally again and, take over this space. You know what? Actually, on second thought, I think this will be fine. I don't want to remove this because if the Directorio rallied and there was only this in here, our base and our guerrilla, then they would make this uncontrolled, and that's getting really close to having them be controlled, and then they would get really close there. So I just want to keep that as it is. I guess I could take the guy from Camagüey, but I think it's good to have a good presence on the map here. So that was our special activity and operation. The government player for Pact of Caracas is going to do an ops and special activity instead. So they're not going to play the event. Does government base or city lack government control troops or police? Yes, they have a government base here that lacks control, troops, and police. So it looks like they're going to train. So until fewer than 4 cubes available, place 4 cubes. Evenly as possible, police and troops at cities and government bases where there's no government control. So that's going to be here. There's no government control. And each of these actions is going to cost, I believe it's 3. We can double check. Train. It's per U.S. Alliance, right? So they are at 3 on the U.S. Alliance track. So they can do this in 3 spaces where there's no police and where there's no troops. Well, they have police and troops in the cities, so it looks like that's the only spot. In one province with 2+ cubes and no government base, they're going to try and place a base. That is not going to happen. If no base is built, they're going to try to buy a civic action in a training space for the greatest shift without spending the resources below 9. So they are going to then try to buy a civic action in La Habana as well to get that up to active support, and that is going to push them over the win condition. So we really need to step up our game and hope and pray that a propaganda card does not come up before we can act. So they're going to place 4 cubes from available, as evenly as possible between troops and police, but they only have police right here, so that's all they're going to be able to place. And so they're going to do that, and then they're going to buy a civic action. So the way that works is it just says buy a civic action. I was hoping to read it to you, but they're going to spend another 3 resources to convert this to active support. So that will push up their, I think this says population 1, yeah, their total support by 1. This will also be in government control. And that will cost a total of 6 resources, 3 for the train and then 3 for the civic action. So 6 resources down is at 28. And then after the training, oh, boopies, there we go. They're going to try to transport from a city with government control to a province with police but no troops. Oh, they have that. So then where active guerrillas exceed the troops, and they're going to remove enemy control and add government control. So this is a maximum of 1 space, though, from a city with government control. They have that in spades. They're going to choose the city with the most cubes above, or the most troops above government control. So here they need to keep 4 cubes in here. So they have 2 troops that they could get rid of and retain control. So we're at 2 there. They have 5 cubes, 6 cubes. My finger was blocking. 6 cubes, and I have 5, so they have exactly as many as they need to retain control, so it's not going to be that city. And then up here they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. They need 4, so they have 3 extra troops available. So it's going to be from Havana, and they're going to go to a province with police but no troops. That's going to be this one. That's the only one with police but no troops. The other ones have troops but police, and this is an economic center. So they're going to keep their control there, and that's going to be their special activity. Then we're going to reshuffle the old eligibility and play the next card. So we're going to have U.S. Speaking Tour. Directorio is going to be up first, followed by Syndicate. And the next card is Comrades. So it wasn't a propaganda. That's good, because that means we will get to action this before it's too late. Let me just really quickly pause. I'm going to just double check all the support and win conditions before we continue, and then I'll be right back. Okay, did a quick check. Everything checked out, so it seemed fine. U.S. Speaking Tour. Directorio is up first. Let's see. Doesn't look like they have special text here, but I always like to double check. And nope. Yep, it looks fine. So they are going to try to do the event. They're going to do the unshaded one. This says expatriates invest. Add insurgent faction. Oh, an insurgent faction adds a die roll in resources. Each other adds +2. Ooh. Okay. Well, they're going to try that. So they're going to do the event. They get a die roll in resources. 5. Wow. Okay. I guess I'm Owen Wilson today. Wow. +5 brings them up to 7. Then every other insurgent faction, so non-government faction, gets +2. So thank you for the resources. And Syndicate gets +2 resources as well. Not that it really needs it. And then the Syndicate will be up. They're going to do Operation Special Activity. because we already did the event. So, could Syndicate add guerrillas where there's a casino and no guerrillas? No, we did that last turn. Would a march to an empty Syndicate would march to empty EC or with cash? Let's look. March. If this nation has support or is EC, and if moving guerrillas plus cubes or exceed 3, activate the guerrillas. No, I mean, it looks like they're... I guess they could march to an economic center. That would be fine. Or with cash. I'm not 100% sure what that means. Let me pause. Okay, so the with cash thing is talking about if this is the last propaganda round. It even says it here if I was just going to read on. If it was the last propaganda card, then do some stuff with cash. But it's not. There's still 3 more. So with they're going to march because they can to economic centers. There's just the one. To each empty EC with 1 guerrilla from where there's the most Syndicate guerrillas and where there's no open casino. The only EC they can reach is this one here, and they can reach it from Pinar del Rio or from La Habana province. So since they both have the same number of guerrillas and both have an open casino, they're going to roll to see where they take it from. So it's either a 1, 2, 3 or a 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 for Pinar del Rio, 4, 5, 6. So, okay. So they're going to go from here. They do retain control of that space because they have a base here, or a casino. So that's what they'll do. And then they're going to try to profit. So where Syndicate has no cash or where there's no enemy, they're going to place up to 2 cash. And let's see. They don't have... So where Syndicate has no cash, that's the first one. But no enemy. So I don't think they're going to do that then. They're going to... So it says if none, then they're going to muscle. So they haven't muscled yet. Let's see what that does. They're going to... Any space with an open casino or an economic center, move 1 to 2 troops from any spaces on the map to the selected space. If province or EC, 1 or 2 police. If city. So 1 or 2 troops or 1 or 2 police. We'll see. Troops to province, police to city. Yes, maximum 1 spot. To an open casino at July 26 control. None of those exist. DR control, none of those exist. So from any space so to an open casino with either control of the Directorio or 26 July, those don't exist with open casinos. So that's if none, then they're going to try to bribe. What does bribe look like? Syndicate resources -3, remove 2 cubes, remove or flip 2 guerrillas, or remove an enemy base from the selected space. Transfer any cash removed if desired. So this is going to remove or flip 2 guerrillas, remove an enemy base. So they're spending resources then to try to root out the enemy. If Mafia offensive, no. They don't have that. They have a different insurgent capability. They're going to try to take cash versus 26 July. So to take cash, transfer cash. Oh yeah, they have control of all their cash. So they're not going to worry about that. Versus 26 July or at 26 open casino to take cash. I don't think they're going to try to flip guerrillas or take any troops off the board. So it looks like essentially there's none of these. So if none, no special activity. Then too bad, so sad. That's their turn. Let's try to get one more card in. because I've been, yammering about this terror and kidnap op for so long, and finally we'll get to do it. So come comrades comes up. Oh, so we did kind of luck out that we did get to go one more time before that propaganda card. Not that they would have won, because they still need active support in all the cities, but it still would have been too close to handle. So here we got place 3 guerrillas anywhere. That's not really that great because we have no available forces and we're pretty spread out on the map. So we are instead going to leverage this opportunity to do a operation and special activity. We will be doing the terror and kidnap finally. So just in that one spot. Oh, we can do it in multiple spots. And that might be something to do. So any spaces with underground guerrillas, we can do it in Santiago de Cuba. That's fine. We might also want to do it in Camagüey. And the other ones, we could also do it, up here in Las Villas. I think that's a perfectly viable option for us. We're going to either do that, or actually it might be nice to do it up here, even though it's less population. This would turn into an active space, and the Directorio wouldn't be able to rally there anymore because they can only do that in neutral or passive spaces. So heck, we could even do it here, but I think then the Directorio might have some tricks up its sleeve. Let's just double check. Would they have any tricks up their sleeve? This is kind of metagaming the bots, probably not super wise. Can they terror an active space? Oh, yeah, I guess they would actually be able to terror in an active space, so it might not be worth it to do it there. We could instead do it in Oriente, though. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So we have 4 resources to spend, so we're absolutely going to do this here. We are absolutely going to do this here. Then why not? Let's do it here too. And I worry it's just going to get undone if we do it there or there. Oh, Camagüey, of course. What am I thinking? We'll do it here. So that was 4 spots, and none of them were economic centers, so they will all cost something. You select a space, activate 1 underground guerrilla if a province or a city, which all of them are. Add a terror marker and shift support opposition 1 level toward active opposition. Boom. So it'll cost us all of our resources. We are going to activate a guerrilla here, and then we're going to shift it 1 space toward active opposition, which means we're going to put a passive marker down, and that will give us 2 more on the victory point track. So up to 7. Then Camagüey. So we did that one. Camagüey, we activate this. This goes away. This goes to neutral. There's the marker. And so then the government player will lose 1 of their support. Then here, we're going to flip a guerrilla to active. We're going to then place a passive marker here, and that's another 2 population. Boom, boom. And finally, our little coup de grace here, we activate another. I think though we can activate 1 underground guerrilla. If it just says activate a guerrilla, we can use one that's already active, but it specifically calls out underground, so we have to do another one. Then this goes to passive, and the government player loses another support, so they're back down to 17. So just like that, we almost doubled our points, and we took the victory out of the jaws of the government player. So that was good. Then we can do our special activity, which is kidnap, in one space. So we're doing it at a city where we did a terror, and the 26th July guerrillas exceed police. It's 5-3, so we can do that here. We will transfer to 26th July a die roll in resources or a cash marker from Syndicate, or from government if city. And then we'll close the casino. Unfortunately, there's no casino there. So we'll take our red die, we'll roll. Let's hope for a high one. 6. Okay, so we transfer, which means we steal from them. So we get 6 resources. The government loses 6 resources. Back down to 22. Getting there. Okay. Oh, man. I mean, we have a long way to go, but at least we're making stuff happen. So then the government player will, I don't think they have any special texts for Come Comrades, but let's see if they do. We got this. Oh, down here. Nope. So if second eligible and the Syndicate's the player, they won't do the event, but since the Syndicate is not the player, it sounds like they will do the event. Played the shaded event unless... Yeah, okay. They don't have a momentum in effect, so they are going to try and do the event. What's the event do for them? Add lesser of... Oh, man, they're going to do this kind of garbage again? Okay. Well, we just took away a bunch of resources. They're going to get them all back. I suppose we should have probably looked for that and taken that into consideration. At least we got a bunch of resources there. So lesser of aid or plus 10 to the government resources than aid plus 5. So aid is at 14. So the lesser of 14 and 10 is 10. They're going to get 10 resources back, 22 up to 32. And then they're going to get aid plus 5, bringing it to 19. And that's a bummer. That's the event. So we're going to shift eligibility. And we are at time here. So the next video, we're going to go through this propaganda card. And then the Rodriguez Loeches is going to come out. And so I guess if I was the DBZ announcer, I'd say, next time on Cuba Libre, we're going to go through propaganda. And looking at the scores and where we're situated here, the Directorio is about halfway there. The Syndicate's about halfway there. Heck, we're just over halfway there to our victory conditions. And then the government player, it looks like they're doing well because they have almost the amount of support they need. But they need to have all cities active support in order for them to win. And right now, the only one with active support is Havana. So we are doing well there. They're going to be able to buy some civic actions during the propaganda round, but that won't affect victory conditions for this specific round. So we will do this. We will continue along with our playthrough. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We got about half the deck left. And so we've got both the first initial 2 propagandas out of the way. Hope you all have a great rest of your day and catch the next video. Can't wait to see you there. Bye.